Welcome back to Rodecast, guys. Hope you're doing well out there. I'm your host, Rod, as always. And in this video, we're going to be looking at one of the tried and true tactics of the open borders crowd who tries to make good Americans feel bad about the fact that a bunch of illegals are being deported. And to make people feel bad, they use the education trick, which is because they're so-called valedictorians or honor students. These are the two cliches that they go to. Oh, we can't deport them because they have tried so hard to get educated here, ignoring all of the American students' opportunities that have been taken away from them actually being here in the first place. Okay, they ignore all the damage that these illegals do, all the spots they take in these schools, in these classrooms, and all the other benefits that they use up in society. They ignore all of that, pretend that's not relevant because they don't even talk about it. So most people don't even think about that, but instead focus on what the illegals have done and how they have benefited from our largesse by stealing our resources, and try to use that against us to say that, oh, these are such good people, we should let them stay even though they broke into our country.
Well, tonight, a story of a college student from Long Island caught up in the immigration crackdown by the Trump administration. 20-year-old Sarah Lopez Garcia is an honor student at Suffolk Community College who works to help victims of domestic violence and was working to get a green card. ICE agents who claim...
Yeah, she's caught up in the administration's efforts because she's an illegal. If you notice, if you watch this video all the way through, which we're going to, they never talk about her actual status, which is that she came here illegally and remained here. And they say, oh, she was in the process. Everybody's in the process of getting something. The point is, they're illegals, they're illegal aliens, and they have no rights here. Again, she should have never been allowed to stay here this long. But because so many Republicans and especially Democrats have failed to get the illegals out, that's the reason these people have remained here so far illegally. But that's all over.
Claimed that they were looking for someone else, picked her up, and then took her to a detention center in Louisiana. She's now facing deportation back to Colombia, along with her mother. Here's Eyewitness News reporter Stacey Sager.
Going to college, working, trying to make a life.
Trying to make a life together. Santiago Luis Castillo and his fiancée, Sarah Lopez Garcia, had planned to get married in August.
So going to college, meaning that she stole a spot from a real American, either a white person or a black person who's actually supposed to be here, whose ancestors built this country, stole a spot. Working, that means taking a job from, a real American who should actually be here, whose ancestors built this country. But he thinks that it's okay for them to do. They don't even think twice about it. They don't care. They don't care about the native population of this country. Okay? If we tried to go to Colombia and take opportunities away from their people, the Colombian government doesn't allow that. They don't let mass immigration into their country. Okay? Because they have some self-respect. And they want their people, whose ancestors built Colombia, to do well there. Not a bunch of freaking white people coming in invading their country. None of these Hispanic countries allow that. Only America allows that. Because somehow we're supposed to let the whole country come and destroy it. Destroy our country and destroy our heritage. Only America is expected to be okay with that. No other country anywhere in the world does that except for Europe and America. All the bleeding heart white people who want open borders.
I was trying to build something. And now... what we have.
She was
Yeah, you can go build it back in Colombia, bro. What's the problem here? Okay? Your ancestors are from Colombia. You don't belong here. You're not English. You're not Swedish. You're not African American. Okay? Your ancestors weren't here in the 1600s. Your ancestors didn't fight in the Revolutionary War. You have no rights to stay here. You have a right to build a life in your own country where your ancestors built it, where your blood belongs. That's where you should be. Not invading our country and expecting us to give you anything. Okay, you have nothing coming your way here. Okay, 3 of my ancestors died in the 1770s and 1780s fighting in the Revolutionary War. How many of yours died in the Revolutionary War? I would bet 0. Okay, so you don't have any rights here.
Standout student at Suffolk County Community College here in Riverhead until ICE came to her family's apartment here in Mastic, claiming they were looking for someone else, striking up a friendly conversation with Sarah and her mother, but then taking them away.
They never say they're coming for them. So that's the...
Do you feel they were pretending they were coming for someone else?
Yes, that's what they did.
This all
Yeah, I got news for you. The police are allowed to lie, for example, when they're undercover to get the criminal. Okay, there's no prohibition against that. You guys are criminals, and ICE use tactics that are legal under the law to catch you in the act of being illegals and to detain you. Okay, that's exactly what happened here. You broke the law and broke into our country, and now you have the temerity to attack ICE by saying, oh, they pretended to say this. You're here illegally. You have no rights here, as I just got done saying. The entitlement is unreal. They walk across the border like couple years ago, and they think they have all the rights that I and or the descendants of the English people who built this country do, or the descendants of the slaves who have been here since the 1600s. Okay, the entitlement of these tamale eaters is unbelievable, unmatched. They think they have the right to go anywhere and just, live there. They're like squatters. That's what they are. Squatters who break into somebody's house and just demand that they have a right to stay here. You have no right to stay there. It's not your house. You didn't build it. You didn't pay for it. And you're going to go have to build your own house instead of stealing somebody else's house.
all happened just one day before her university's commencement, casting a shadow over the ceremony, her teachers tell us. Sarah was supposed to be here, cheering on friends who were graduating.
There's an emptiness there that has hit a lot of her classmates hard because she was in the peer mentor program.
Of course, they find an English woman to cry. Typical open borders progressive who thinks that anybody who walks and breaks into this country has a right to stay here forever. These are the kind of white people who destroyed America and brought us to the position that we're in now.
Peer mentor program, she was very well loved.
They say Sarah was studying.
I don't care how loved she was. What kind of arguments are these? I can't deal with these arguments. They're not arguments. They're just silliness. Oh, she's such a great person. Yeah, she can be a great person back in Colombia. Why does she have to be here?
To be an interior designer, was also helping to design part of a nearby women's shelter. Always doing good things.
Yeah, Colombia needs a lot of women's shelters, so she can go and help her own people, which is what she should be doing instead of breaking into English land.
It just flies in the face of the narrative that we've been told that ICE detentions and ICE raids will only be for those who are convicted of a crime.
Yeah, they never said that. Trump said from the beginning, we're going to prioritize the criminals, but everybody who's illegal has got to go. So Morelli here, Mr. Italian, Mr. Spaghetti is wrong. Okay, as always, as all these liberals are, they distort what Trump and Tom Homan and all the other people said about what we're going to do about the illegals, what they're going to do about the illegals.
Her fiance says Sarah committed no crimes, but now feels like a prisoner.
Yeah, if you believe in open borders, of course you think that she committed no crime. She did commit a crime. She's not even supposed to be here. She's not supposed to be here in the first place. And this guy's not supposed to be here either. Both of them got to go.
They treat them like criminals.
You are criminals. You're not supposed to be in this land. Your ancestors didn't build it. You have no right to be here. You don't get to break into my house just because you have problems in your country. And by the way, Colombia is now falling apart. Colombia doesn't have humanitarian tragedies going on. So they don't even have an excuse when it comes to that. That's why they don't have any citizenship, because they can't even claim that their lives are threatened back in Colombia, because it's not, because it's a lie. They're economic migrants and they need to go back to their own country.
They scream.
She was a 3.9 GPA honor student, absolutely incredible student, a student leader.
Yeah, stealing the spotlight away from a white woman, for example, who could have been in that same position. Every single place that these illegals are, they're taking a spot away from a real American. That's what they're doing in the real world. The left will tell you that's not true, but it is physically 100% true. They're literally physically taking a seat inside a classroom from a real American when these illegals are existing in this land. Every single place that they are, from restaurants to schools to the government to getting benefits or whatever they're getting, they're always stealing a spot from a native-born American. That's what's actually happening. That's just a fact. Like, you can say, well, I'm okay with that because I want to help the world. That's the left-wing position, okay? You can say that that's your position, okay, but don't deny the fact that they are actually taking a spot. That you cannot deny if you're an honest person, which of course the left is not honest. They just want the whole world to invade our country and destroy the Anglo-Saxon heritage of our founding fathers and of this country. That's what they really want. Just be honest and say that, okay? One of my biggest frustrations is they won't admit what they actually want to do. They want to make this country into a universal melting pot and destroy all the native people here, meaning black people and white people. They want to get rid of us and replace it with the rest of the world. That's what they actually want to do. Just say it. Just say it and be honest about it.
Fiance tells us Sarah had only one more semester to go here at Suffolk County Community College. She had already secured her first job. Now she remains in
stealing a job from a real American, like I just got through saying.
A detention center in Louisiana, where she says she will self-deport. Her fiance says he'll go to Colombia to marry her. If that
great. It's a happy day for everybody. They're going back to the country that they belong, that their blood belongs, that their ancestors belong in, and they themselves belong in, and they're going to be having a great life. She seems to be a excelling student. Great. You can do a lot for Colombia. You can build your own country up instead of running away to America, which is what everybody in the world apparently wants to do. Okay. And we're just supposed to accept it. The people who are actually native born Americans. I'm not okay with that. And a lot of Americans are not okay with that. The government of the United States is supposed to care about people like myself and other real Americans, not a bunch of foreigners. People like Karen Bass and Newsom care way more about foreigners who just broke into this country a couple of days ago than people whose ancestors have been here for hundreds of years, going back to the 1600s, in my case, and many other real Americans.
Well, tonight, more than 50,000 people are now in immigration detention centers, a number that now includes an honor student from Sarasota County. Maria Martinez was brought from Mexico to Florida as a child and is now facing a new life in her home country. Just hours ago, only on 10, her family shared with our Chris Hurst they're worried for her safety.
She's part of this community.
Not a word of English again. Every single one of these idiots who are being deported, not a word of English they can speak. Look at this. They always need a translator. They love America so much, but won't learn George Washington's language.
And she's very responsible.
Lourdes Martinez says her daughter Maria's honor roll certificates and diploma from the State College of Florida prove she deserves to stay in Sarasota County.
Yeah, that doesn't prove anything. You can go back to wherever you came from, okay? Unless her ancestors built this country for starting in the 1600s, she doesn't have a right to do anything except get the hell out of here. Do you see the entitlement? Oh, she did well in school, so she deserves to stay here forever. What? What?
Were you there when she graduated with the cap and gown?
Yes, yes.
But 6 months later, her family, who call her Lulu, says she's at a Texas detention facility and likely will be sent back to Mexico.
Yeah, she can go back to Mexico where she belongs. She doesn't belong here. I don't care what kind of grades she got. She can go get great grades in Mexico and build up Mexico instead of stealing from us. Because every single spot that they're in, they're stealing from a real American. That's what's actually happening, okay? Every single school classroom that she was in, that's a spot that could have gone to a real American. That's just a fact, okay, whether you like it or not.
I know that we are here undocumented, or what some people will say illegal.
Yeah, you don't deserve to be here. Your feet shouldn't even be touching George Washington's land. And you don't seem to understand that. You don't see us invading Mexico. If we were, then you can tell us to get the fuck out too. And we would listen. And there shouldn't be any white people in Mexico either. Okay. I agree with the Mexicans who are saying, get the hell out, gringos. I agree 100%. Our blood doesn't belong in Mexico. That's not our land. We're not Aztecs. We don't belong there. So get the hell out is my message to all the white people who are in Mexico. That's not your land. Go back to Europe, wherever you came from, or America. Okay. A lot of these people are like European tourists and stuff. Some Americans there too. And they need to go back to America.
But my daughter doesn't deserve what's happening to her.
Yeah, she does actually. It's your fault. This one here, this fatty, she brought him here, this tamale, okay? It's your fault that your daughter's going through this. You brought her here illegally because you have no regard for our borders. You don't give a goddamn about America and the people who built this country. You disrespect us every day by not learning our language, not speaking our language, and by breaking into this country illegally. So give me a break with your righteous indignation. You are not righteous in any way.
He doesn't deserve to be detained, and a lot of other people don't deserve that either.
2 weeks ago.
Yeah, she thinks every fucking foreigner should be able to break into America and we should say nothing about it. Your daughter deserves everything she's getting. You deserve to be deported along with her, and I hope ICE gets you next.
She was pulled over for making an illegal U-turn. Local police shared her undocumented status with ICE. Florida leads the nation in the number of local and state agencies assisting with federal immigration enforcement.
We're sorry that this young woman needs to be deported, but she does, and that's on her parents for coming here illegally in 2015, taking everything that America and Florida has to offer, but not respecting our laws for entrance.
Still, Martinez's family says ICE should be chasing after violent criminals and felons, not a...
No, we can go after the violent criminals, but we're also going to go after you. You're all the same, okay? You're all the same because you're not supposed to be here.
Straight A student with a business degree.
As an immigrants, we will think that Trump will get the criminals, the real criminals. My sister, that she has a career, she pays taxes, she has a job.
Their case has caught the...
I don't care how many taxes you pay. I don't care how many good grades you get. The point is you're not supposed to be here. Okay, this is not your country. You have a country that your ancestors built. This is the country that my ancestors built. No, this country is not for you. I don't care what you have accomplished here. You should have never been here in the first place. And that's what these people don't understand. America is not an idea. America is a place that was built by the original people who came here with their blood and sweat for the people, for their kin, for their children. That's what this country was built for. Okay, and then a bunch of English people in the 1800s decided that they're going to open up the borders and pretend that, oh, we're all immigrants. No, we were settlers. My ancestors were settlers. Most of the people who came here from Europe in the 1600s, they were settlers. Okay, we have let immigrants in since then, but this is not a country of immigrants. This is a country of settlers who built this country up. Anybody who says this is a country of immigrants, you're trying to erase the settler past of the people like my ancestors who built this country and the ancestors of the foundational Black Americans who also contributed to building this country. White people from Northern and Western Europe and Black African slaves built this country. That's the fact. That's a fact that the left doesn't like because they want to erase that. Okay, they love to talk about slavery to attack white people, but other than that, they don't want to give credit to the FBA or the FWA. Okay, they just want to pretend like America fell out of thin air, you know, like 100 years ago in the early 1900s, and we have some responsibility to help every loser in the world who has a problem. This is the world that the left wants to create for this country, and some people on the right who love mass immigration as well, and they're all wrong. This country is not for you. This country is for the government of this country is supposed to be serving the people who built this country and their descendants. And that's all I got to say for this video. Thank you so much for watching. As always, I'll see you guys in my next one. Stay safe out there.